What do you think, Willie? Arf, arf. You want some nacho? Okay, here. Come here, buddy. Ready? Sit. And there you go. Yeah. Those are your favorite chips too, huh? Oh, God. That dog cracks me up. Okay, not too many. I'm on a diet. And then our favorite, of course, Stater Brothers cheese. Mexican blend. All right. Now we'll pop those in the microwave. And we got to see how those taste. And then after this, we'll make some real tortilla chips. Welcome to Scott's Kitchen. Just took these out. This is my salsa. So in the last edition of Scott's Kitchen, I said I was going to make some homemade tortillas, chips. Well, I don't make the tortillas. I just make the chips from tortillas. So I had these street tacos, which I really don't use too much, and I need to use them. So I think the first thing we're going to do is cut those up and put them in a pot, and we're going to cook them. Man, it's good. So making nachos couldn't be easier. Real thing to do is just get a nice sharp knife, and I leave them all stacked up just the way they are. And the whole kit and the caboodle, whatever the heck that means. And then we're going to do like this. And you have your chips. Just make sure the bottom ones are cut as well. And then, God, I love this salsa. And of course, the perfect thing for nachos is some homemade lemonade. That's good. So then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to move over to the stove, and we're going to fill a pot. Now you may be thinking, no, I'm not going to fill a pot. I'm going to put them like in a frying pan or on the stove or something like that. You don't really want to do that because it's going to splatter everywhere. And I think the mistake that most people use is they use way too much oil and they heat it up too high. So I don't really have, this is just Kirkland canola oil, and I only put about maybe 3/4 of an inch in there. And I'm not going to heat it up to like super boiling. I've got the fire set on 2, and I'm just going to let that come to temperature very slowly. And then we're going to throw I'll show you. We'll get this all going, and I'll show you exactly how to do it. Okay, so here's our whole setup. We're making tortilla chips. It's super easy, and it's super inexpensive too, because the oil's not that expensive. And what you can do is, after you use this, you can put a lid on it, put it on the back of the stove. You can use it for all kinds of things, making taquitos, chicken wings, pot stickers, anything you want to fry. Just throw everything in there. And finally, one day you've been using it so much that it gets really gross, and then you have to throw it away. So you have your Dia de los Muertos Tapatio, some lemonade, our tortilla chips cut in little pieces, canola oil, and I think in one of the last videos I mentioned that I use Lowry seasoned salt for my tortilla chips, not just my pasta. It adds a really good flavor to it and very much a hit. A bowl with some paper towels, so I'm going to scoop them out and put them in here, and I'm just kind of have that fire on low, just kind of waiting to heat up. How to tell when it's the right temperature is put one of these in there. If it boils up and goes all crazy, you're too hot. If it just sits there and lays there, you're too cold. So just you can kind of look and see if it's getting hot, and once it gets hot, throw it in there and kind of see what it does. Then you can adjust your temperature from there. This has been on the stove for a few minutes, heating up. So let's just put one in there and kind of see how it goes. That is a chip in oil that is not hot enough. So it's bubbling a little bit, but we have a ways to go with the temperature. All right, so we're starting to get some bubbly action. So I'm going to do this in fourths. It just seems like the right way to do it. I don't want to put all of it in there because that's kind of crazy. But what I like to do is just kind of put them in here individually so they don't stick together. And not too many so the oil doesn't cool down in temperature. But oh, and that's going nicely. So that's kind of about the bubbly that you want. You don't want it any hotter than that because it's just going to get crazy. And you definitely don't want splattering. So doing this in a pot, as you can see, it's bubbling, but it's not going to spray all over my my stove and make a big cleaning job. So that's kind of my tip, is a pot and do it this way. We're just going to keep doing this until they kind of get golden brown. And the thing that I've noticed when I do this is I always want to take them out when I don't think they're quite done, because they're kind of like a yellowish golden yellow. And I take them out and they dry and they darken up and they're perfectly crispy. If you wait until they're sort of a medium brown in the pot, you take them out, they're going to be really dark and they're going to be overdone. While we're waiting for these to cook, I thought of another thing that you can do with this. This is a great setup for French fries as well. If you want to wow your family, you can make homemade French fries. Just get a potato, you don't have to peel it, wash it, maybe cut off some of the bad spots. You can peel it if you want, you don't have to. Chop it up into just strings and do it exactly the same way as we're doing here for the tortillas, and even using the seasoned salt as well. And you'll take them out, let them sit for just a minute, the salt, and serve them to your family, and they're going to go nuts with like a spicy ketchup or maybe mayonnaise if they're into that. So this is exactly the same procedure for French fries. Another way you can tell that these are almost done is the boiling or the bubbling kind of stops. It like definitely these two are done. That's about the color that you want. Ooh, this one's done. And all these are actually almost done. But the bubbling gets real mellow. Not much bubbling going on. And they are ready to come out. Alright, so let's just take all of these. It's good to have your bowl here really close so you're not dripping oil everywhere. Got to keep things clean. And then what we're going to do is put another batch, just like that. Ooh, see how much that's bubbling? And then we're going to season. Okay, and let them cool. And in a minute we'll try one. All right, order up. Nachos. Okay, so batch number 2 is in there. Stirring it around. Batch number 1 is done. And I think it's time for a taste test. So if we grab a chip, do you see how much darker that got? It really wasn't that dark in the pan, but then I pulled it out when it didn't really look like it was quite done. And now that's a little overdone actually. So it's a little bit deceiving. Crunchy, salty, the perfect hot sauce. That's a good thing. All right, I'm just going to continue on doing this, the other couple of batches, and finish those up. And that's really all there is to it. Thanks for watching. Man, these are good. Mmm, so crunchy.